late on that. Hi, Scotty O right here. Always Off Brand, coming to you from Always Off Brand Studios here. Again, I'm so sorry to make you suffer. It's just me once again because, well, people are not feeling well. People are on vacation. Things are happening. Things are moving. We had some things that are planned, but you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to just move and shake. We do have Summer and Haley coming back because I know nobody wants to listen to me and me come up with these shows. But here we go. Here we are. And this is the show. I'm going to walk you through a presentation. I did a detail in Palm Springs. I know that was February. That was 100 years ago. Life was so different then. But I got to be a track chair, and I got to do this great presentation that I really spent a lot of time on and worked hard. Big help with Kelsey Burkhardt at Quickfire to put this together graphically. The font savant was deeply involved. And I got to share it with, 8 to 12 people in the room at the time. So that was great. But I thought the people that were there thought it was just absolutely baller. So I thought, hey, why not? I'll describe it to you if you're listening to this, all the faithful 28. But I will also show, if you do catch this on the YouTube or the short or whatever, thank you. And I'm going to kind of go through this. I think the bigger picture, I've added something here that I think is actually even bigger that I'm going to share real quickly. And this is going to be a big one. What's the biggest change coming to marketplaces? I was the track chair for marketplaces. Obviously, I spent a lot of time into Amazon. So I was thinking, okay, what do I think that's going to be one of the biggest changes? But what led me to this, okay, was this whole process when I really try to simplify things and dial it down. Again, everybody loves acronyms. We love them here on AOB, Always Off Brand. So I'm going to throw a new one out. I don't know if anybody's come up with this. I just make shit up all the time. I mean, no one really cares. So I call this, and this is a fancy little template here and the bad color and everything else. So I apologize to those watching. I call this the ACS vortex. Okay. It's a vortex. It's not a flywheel. It's a flipping vortex that sucks you in deep. And the A, C, and the S stand for attention, captive, and sales. Okay. Because where I want to drill this down, what I started really thinking about when I was putting together was what is really, it's really the attention, right? Oh, the attention economy, the attention currency, discovery and TikTok and all this other stuff. Yes, our attention, we all have ADHD, we all have ADD. That's a serious thing. Again, I'm with you. I'm right here. I was on medications for 12 years for it. Okay. So I mean, yes, we are so scattered. We are so fragmented in a day-to-day, moment-to-moment. And what drives that drives the attention here when I think about marketplaces really is the owned content. Okay. Owned content can entertain you. Can it entertain me? I guess that's the question. Because at the end of the day, through all of it, let's just be honest with ourselves. We all just want to be entertained. Whether it's doom scrolling, we all do it. I do it. Come on. We just want to be entertained. Really, that's the human. I think that's just it's part of the basic human need is attention. But you got to entertain me. And the other thing is, can you keep my attention? That's huge, obviously. And the last thing of attention, my God, it's got to be easy as hell to find. You got to be able to discover it, and you got to be able to find it. And who leads that from a marketplace standpoint? Duh. We'll get to that. But why I set this up is really the first thing is you got to entertain me. You got to get my attention and keep my attention. Second of all, once that happens, if you entertain me through owned content mostly, okay, and that's why the creator generation, the creator evolution, why all the it's switched to they have the leverage. The creators do. We do. Then you got me captive. That's also unbelievable. Once you have my attention, you got me. I am captive. And guess what you can do? You can market to me. Not only can you market to me, though, you got to market the right stuff to me. You got to market to me when I want it. You got to understand the why behind it. Why am I consuming what you've got my attention? What are you entertaining me? And what do I have? So you got to be captive, or you have me captive, but you got to market to me now, and you got to do it in the way I want it. And if you do that, it'll become much more efficient over time. The last thing is, and people are so bored, you've probably already skipped forward or moved on to another podcast. I don't know. The last thing is the common sense, right? Once you got my entertainment attention by entertaining me, once you got me captive and then you marketed to me, well, then no shit, Sherlock, sales comes. Commerce, baby. But commerce is happening all over, anywhere, and you meet the customer where they are. That's so true. You got to meet them where they are, and that's changing. And oh, by the way, you got to make it super easy. You got to deliver. You got to be able. The payment has to be like not. I don't have to like use a brain cell to pay. Okay, and then oh, by the way, you have to deliver it super fast. You have to give me like convenience is crazy. But then, and only then, oh, wow, you have a closed loop attribution process. And then you have first party data. And guess what? You can do it all over again. All right. That's why the ACS vortex, right? Attention captive sales. That is why that is what this all lies behind. And that leads me to what I think is bigger than AI. It's bigger than everything you've talked about, read about, thought about. It's all about the balls. It's all about the balls, baby. All right. And if you were watching on YouTube, you see this unbelievable animation where we have footballs and basketballs and volleyballs and soccer balls flying through the screen. God, this one slide made us so happy. Why balls? And I know what you're thinking out there, okay? Hey now. It's not those kind of balls. It's sports. And the reason it is sports, and really, honestly, it's the National Football League. Dun, 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 the National Football League, the NFL. And the next slide was the 100 most watched U.S. broadcasts of 2024. It's just unbelievable. I think 75 or 78 of them on your screen are the National Football League. And honestly, it's usually about 80, 85. It's almost more. But because we had an election year in 24, it was that one political programming came in, and the top was what? Was 4 of the top 10. That's actually very rare. Then usually in 23, 22, college football after the NFL picks up some speed there. And then honestly, after that, it's not even close. Like you got the Grammys there. And then if there's an Olympic year, you get some little Olympics. Other than that, it's not even there. Grammys are in there. Scripted television, nowhere. Not even there. It's just unscripted, even reality TV, not even close. No one even comes close to the National Football League. Okay. That's just how it is. And I use this stat in the presentation because I looked this up. The number one broadcast, this is not streaming, but it also is out of home. So they do calculate streaming. So if you stream CBS's platform, okay, the Paramount Plus, the number one scripted television show right now, okay, is Tracker. The show Tracker. It's from the star guys from the old show. I don't remember the name. Anyway, Tracker, 14 million, averages 14 million average households watching it. Okay. Let me tell you about the NFL. NFL averages 25 million per week, 17 weeks. Plus you have the playoffs, and the playoffs, it gets up to 30, 40 NFC, AFC championship games. You're getting 50 plus million viewers on those games. It's unbelievable. The global spend on sports TV rights. Okay. This is why it's an arms race to go get these property rights. Okay. That's spending on sports TV rights by streaming platforms alone, just streaming platforms in 2024, 10 billion. I think this number's actually gone up since I did that presentation. $10 billion. Why are they spending their brains out Okay. Why? Because it is exactly what I said, right? It is the attention, the captive, the sales. I just showed you it's the top 100. Live sports, and especially American football, it's not even close. I just told you that. So that's why everybody, live sports is like the last standing one that we can gather around the screen and watch. That's it. There's nothing else left. Everything's on demand. Everything's out. So you have a captive audience. It's the second big thing. And then you can market to them. And then obviously you can sell them stuff. So percentage of total sponsorship spend by highest spending sectors and world regions. I just thought this was interesting. Okay. North America is in red. If you're watching, 17% of financial services, 16% of the total spend is on drinks. And then the third highest, only 5% sports apparel and equipment. Now, there's some interesting on that one. Europe actually has a higher spend percentage than the United States. But if you look at globally, it's 15% financial, 12% drinks, and 9% in sports and apparel equipment. Now, there's some other things because they have this network streaming called DAZN, D-A-Z-N, and that's actually, they're paying the most for rights fees in the world. They have all the soccer because soccer is the largest sport in the world. So there's some other things that cost that, but financial services, basically drinks, sports apparel. The one that shocked me here is that insurance. I don't know if that's might be in financial services, but every time I watch a game, every time I watch anything, it's State Farm, it's Progressive, it's Liberty Mutual, it's all those guys because they have massive margins. Okay. And this brings me to marketplaces because the marketplaces are playing huge in this. And who's leading this? It's not even close. Live sports on Amazon Prime. They have 18 different sports leagues properties that they have exclusively bought and have exclusive ownership on. Some not totally exclusive, some they share with other things. So the big one coming up next fall they just signed is the National Basketball Association, NBA. They have shared rights with NBC on that, but they've put together a lot of things there up fronts. They have a brand new cast that's going to do the studio show and all this stuff. So ESPN, NBC, and ABC and Amazon are basically sharing that. It's a massive deal. 80 games a year. Unbelievable. They have both regional and national. 18. Okay. NBA, Monday Night Football. They have Monday Night Hockey in Canada, which is huge. I know a smaller thing. They have Roland Garros tennis. They have Premier League. They have NASCAR. Actually, they have some other sports. They have all kinds of stuff. They're actually getting into pickleball, for crying in the night. All right. WNBA, which is the fastest growing as far as ratings per league, is growing that fast. This is, they own the content. This is why Amazon is so far ahead on marketplaces. This is all owned. They understand where the value is because NFL, like I just told you, they have Thursday Night Football. That's their premier package. Unbelievable amount of dollars. And they had Black Friday. They literally created a whole revenue stream, an ad revenue off Black Friday football, which is exclusive to them. Nobody else has that through the NFL. So that's why long term, this is crazy. The other big thing that Amazon's doing here that is very smart, that both the leagues love and that they can actually drive advertising revenue, is they're getting younger demographics, right? The problem with live sports is, and especially the traditional ones in baseball, NBA and NFL, is it's old guys like me. I mean, that they don't have, it's not in the beautiful 18 to 34, the biggest advertising revenue demo that they want. Well, what they've shown over 2 years in Thursday Night Football with the NFL is they actually are pulling a lower demographic because it's all streaming. Then I'm almost done. I swear. If you're here still, if you've loved, just hang on this long. I mean, my God, shout out you. The largest TV advertisers, okay? This is also interesting because their dollars are moving from traditional television and cable, which only has about 50 to 60 million subscribers in the US, used to be 120. Still, that's a lot, by the way. The biggest thing is pharma. And this is one of our favorite slides we had, was it breaks out who's spending all the money. I showed you financial services. I showed you the other one globally and in the US as far as percentage of different sectors. Well, let's break that down even more. Okay. Pharma, we know it's massive. I bet you these numbers, it's got 81 million for OBVI, GSK 52, Novo Nordisk 44. I bet you pharma is even farther ahead because of all the weight loss drugs and all the other stuff. Secondly, then you got P&G, you got CPG companies, which we all know, the grocery store brands. This is where we live and die, consumer packaged goods. P&G leading the way at 109 million, 33.7 million for PepsiCo. And that's just the top two. I mean, we haven't even touched it. Then you get into automotive. I mean, a huge plot there. My God, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You got all kinds of people in the automotive. We see this every day, right? They've just huge marketing spends on TV. Then you get down to media and entertainment, which is Walt Disney, Warner Brothers, and then you get technology. Hello. They put Progressive in technology, or excuse me, that's Alphabet and Amazon are in technology, which is interesting. That's really tech, retail, and media. They've kind of sliced that. And that's about $32 million a year. Alphabet's in technology. Google leads the way. I think Meta is probably in there. And then insurance. Progressive is leading the way in insurance, even though I feel like State Farm is there all the time. And then the last thing is communications. So Charter, Comcast, those kind of things. But this is where the biggest TV advertisers are. And this is all this money is going to be switching. And here's the other big thing, and the slide has an empty look, listener, of a huge empty warehouse with tons and tons and tons of empty racks. Because my point of this slide was inventory, kids. That's what Amazon has. That's where I worry about Walmart, because they don't have own content. They don't have the attention. They have all these stores out there. They have great, unbelievable footprint of stores closest to 90% of the US population. They have a lot of things. They have grocery. They have a lot of first party data. They have everything, but they don't have own content. That's my point. They don't have a lot of own content. Okay. Then moving on. That's why inventory is going to be killer. And this last slide, listener, is one that I kind of ended with because I just like to throw a little curveball, but a kind of what if. What I have on the screen is I have the great NFL shield, the logo of NFL. And what if, because social commerce, because what's going on, Netflix had a Christmas Day, 3 exclusive games on Christmas. The ratings were through the roof, off the chain, as the kids say, or actually used to say, they don't really say. But Netflix and the NFL. I have Shein in NFL, which has kind of lost favor a little bit since Shein and then is gone off a little bit because they're not advertising much. I have NFL and I have Temu listed here, the logos together. Now that again is fallen out of favor because they've dropped off all the China, US tariffs, whatever. Now they're not advertising like they were, and Google. And then you have TikTok Shop. This is probably the most plausible partnership because think about it. NFL, you have entertainment. You have that captive audience. Now you can buy stuff. Okay? So TikTok Shop and NFL, that could happen. That actually could happen. The whole point here is the NFL has so much power. They have so much demand. They can give you so much ad revenue. And if you lock in and you captivate that audience and you sell them shit, they're doing it like nobody else. And that's why I think live sports, specifically the NFL and footballs, are one of the biggest changes we're going to see in marketplaces. And that's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all that kind of stuff. Believe me, we will be back with more Summer Jubilee or Haley Brucker the News. We have some huge guests actually the end of June coming in. There's some vacations. There's all kinds of stuff going on, but stay tuned. Thanks for listening, watching, subscribe, tell a friend, everybody. Still top 10 retail podcast. Okay. Top 10. We float between 10, 7, 5. We're kind of in and out of there on the feed spot. Also a million podcasts. We're like top in there. So we appreciate you. Please review, please like, please all that stuff.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.